Well, greetings once again. It's day 20 of the Builderall Bootcamp. I am so excited that you made it this far. I mean, give yourself a little bit of a pat on the back because this hasn't been easy, and I know that a lot of you have been just pushing through so many blocks. So well done. Seriously, well done. Throughout this week, we've been covering, is email really dead, right? We talked through the statistics and conversion stats of email marketing, right? We talked through how to use email like a pro, delivering the right message at the right time. We talked through, and even we gave you four email templates to customize and make yourself. We went through the top 10 email mistakes that we often see with newbies in them making. So today on day 20, here's what we're going to do. We're going to keep this super short, quick, and to the point. But I wanted to lay out for you sort of the customer's journey, okay? And here's what I mean by that. So in terms of somebody getting in contact with you, whether they see an ad or whether they see a YouTube video or whether they see your blog post or whether you talk to them in person, it doesn't really matter. But in terms of the customer journey, think of it kind of like a timeline, right? Okay, so we talked about this earlier, and forgive my drawing skills here, guys. It's what it is. But in terms of somebody, let's say the first point of contact for them is they find you. Okay, they find you. Then there's this little moment where they see an opt-in page, and maybe they don't even opt in the first time, but eventually they opt in and give you their name and email. And then starts these sequences of emails. Okay, now this is the pivotal moment where they start to really trust you. They start to see, wow, this person is, candid with their journey and their story. They're candid with the mission of their company and what they're about. They're candid with all of this stuff. And this is really where we talked about it yesterday and the day before that. The know, like, and trust factor really starts to build. And then this is usually where money comes, okay? Now look, can money come earlier on in little spurts throughout? Yes. But the underlying, it's sort of like if you've ever seen a photo of an iceberg, right? If this is the water surface, and then you see this little iceberg sticking out of the water, right? Underneath the water, the iceberg is usually at least 2 to 5 times the size, and don't quote me on that, but it's usually way, way larger, the iceberg is, under the surface than it is above, right? So a lot of times people think, here's the thing, a lot of times people think that all of your money should be coming up front and that everything's about conversions and money. That is true. I mean, we're here to make a profit as a business, right? We're here to do two things, change lives and make money. But the bigger undercurrent, sort of the underbelly of your business, is this know, like, and trust factor. And what you're trying to do is build this. And you've got to have trust in the process that this is going to make you money at some point. Okay, so in terms of the customer journey, then, in email marketing, you're trying to do two things. You're trying to engage people and you're trying to convert people. Engage and convert, right? So over the past, this was just yesterday, we gave you 4 emails. And these 4 emails are designed to start to build a relationship, right? And we had you customize them, make them into your story, build a relationship, okay? Now, just want to give you a quick little side note. If you're not great with English, if your grammar isn't perfect, hire somebody on Fiverr.com who's good with grammar, okay? Just search grammar correction or grammar and have them look through your emails, read them, and give you a correction for $5 or $10, okay? It's worth the investment. But those were to build a relationship. And now what we want to talk about is conversions. So today, here's the end goal. So emails 1 through 4 are building relationship. Now emails 5 through 10, which we also have templates for today, are about converting your customers. Okay, so what you're gonna see here when you scroll through this day 20 document is email 5 through 10 rather, that are going to focus on conversions, education and conversion, okay? So for instance, in this one, we're talking through sort of a make money online sort of pitch, okay? So what you'll have to do is, for whatever industry you're in, for whatever whatever industry you're in, whatever you're selling, you're going to have to sort of convert these and switch these up a little bit. If you're in the make money online education space, then maybe you can keep that. But what you're going to want to do, so for instance, I had, and let me scroll up here to number 5, okay? So you got played, right? The angle is what can stay here. So I want to make this really clear for you. The angle, you got played, is taking the angle that somebody is to blame, right? We talked about this earlier in the boot camp, but somebody is to blame, right? Be a good little girl or boy, get good grades, go to college, find a job, right? Put money away into retirement and you'll be fine. Charade is collapsing right on our noses. We've been played. Now, I can take that angle in so many different ways. I've talked about coffee. Remember this? Now, this might be a little extreme, so just bear with me here for a second. But I've talked a lot about coffee over the last, 20 days of this boot camp. In the coffee industry, a lot of times people will say that dark roasted coffee tastes best. So let's imagine for a second that I have a little website for a coffee business, right? And people go there and they say, I want to subscribe to sign up for updates. And then I have a little autoresponder sequence set up for people that just is focused on education. Okay, so this autoresponder sequence is just educating people. People have been scammed into thinking that dark roasted coffee is the strongest coffee online, or the strongest coffee online is the strongest coffee available. Dark roasted coffee tastes terrible to me, but most people think, you know what, when I taste a really dark, strong cup of coffee, it's going to have the most caffeine. People have been scammed. People have been played, right? So I can talk to that point. I can say, look, did you know that dark roasted coffee has the least amount of caffeine of all coffee? It has the least. Actually, light to medium roasted coffee has the most caffeine, because the longer it roasts, the more the caffeine comes out of the bean. And that's why we roast only light to medium, whatever. At our coffee company, we only roast light to medium. And that could be one of my emails, right? You got played. For instance, surveys show, and then I give a little bit of, remember, this is all about education. Surveys show 1 in 3 Americans have no retirement savings. Well, if it was coffee, I would say surveys show 1 in 3 Americans don't really know the story behind where their coffee is being roasted, or is being grown or being roasted. Surveys show Americans don't really know that, and what happens throughout that food chain is people get lost. The farmers get screwed on their money. They end up living most of their life in poverty, and we do things differently. We buy our coffee directly from coffee farmers, which goes directly into their pockets, and they end up living a much more fulfilled, happy, abundant life because of that model, as opposed to the Keurig, Starbucks, all of these other models. Now, if you're sitting here, so you might just be sitting here watching this, reading this, whatever, as a boot camp member, thinking like, wow, okay, like that's a great little angle there. The thing of it is look, let me give you a real example. If I was a Builderall affiliate, this whole we've been played, all you got to do is play on the angle of how greedy software companies charge you X amount of dollars every single month for their funnel building software, for their email marketing software, for all of this software. The problem for some of you with Builderall who are affiliates is that you actually haven't spent enough time in this industry to know how expensive some of these things are. You haven't used Infusionsoft. You haven't used ClickFunnels. You haven't used for instance, any number of, I don't know, any number of other expensive softwares to build websites. You haven't used WordPress or tried to use WordPress and realized how difficult and the struggle it is. You have two major issues in specifically in that industry. One is price. The other is it's super hard. It costs a lot of money, and the other is it's hard. And you can use these email templates and the angles in them to start to build and educate your audience. Okay, so number 6 is the biggest lie we've all been fed. Again, in coffee, I would just say this is that dark roasted coffee is the strongest in terms of caffeine content. It's just not true. Or I could say it's also that coffee can't taste like it smells. It's false. You can, if you roast coffee right and get the best coffee in the world, you can make it taste just as good as it smells before you brew it. That was always a struggle for me, right? So and in all of that, what would I be doing? I would be building trust for the purpose of eventually driving e-commerce sales, right? Most coffee shops and coffee roasteries that I've ever been a part of don't have an educational element to them where they educate their consumers and drive more e-commerce sales because of that. They just don't do it. Okay? So throughout these emails, right, get this out of your head, email number 7. Email number 8, how to fix what's going on upstairs, right? So a lot of this has to do with mindset and shifting your mentality and shifting your mindset, which is really helpful in many cases, in many industries, in the health and wellness industry, right? If you're selling pills and potions and shakes and all that kind of stuff, right? If you're trying to build a business, any of this stuff, okay? And then email number 10, maybe this will do the trick, right? Most of us would do much more to avoid pain than we would to gain pleasure. That's an interesting thing, right? So this is all about building an online business, and it talks about, barely having enough money to retire. Look, if it is to get better, it must be by change. It might take you a while, or you can use this to get there faster, right? So that angle here is all about speed. So there's different angles, and what I want you to do is read through them, because here's what I found. In the last 8 years of teaching people how to write really amazing copy, what I found is the best way is to have people actually read really compelling, really good copy. And you'll notice here that there's little spots throughout these emails where you can actually insert. So if I was copying and pasting this into Mailing Boss or Aweber or whatever, where it says, till then, go ahead and watch this video now, right here, this is where I would hyperlink to go to my bridge page or to go to my sales page. They've already opted in, so they've already seen the opt-in page of my funnel. I don't need them to opt in again. I would say, go watch this video now. I would send them straight to my video page. Okay? So wherever it says insert user first name tag, that's where you're going to put in the F name tag, the first name tag. And if you don't know how to do that, contact whoever, if you're using Mailing Boss, go watch a tutorial, or if you're using Aweber, go watch a tutorial. Okay? And then right here, this is where you would obviously put your name. Okay? So day 20, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go through these emails, okay? And I want you to take them to whatever email marketing service you're using, whether it's Mailing Boss, whether it's Aweber, okay? You're going to go in and create a little campaign, and you're going to put them into a sequence. So what you're going to have at the end of all of this is a 10-part email sequence. If you're not sure how to put together a sequence, contact support for your email marketing service. Say, hey, I want a 10-part email sequence. I've written these out there here in my Google document or in my Microsoft Word document or whatever. And how do I make them into an autoresponder sequence? Okay. And guess what? Remember this. Figure it out. Figure it out. Okay. That's day 20, ladies and gentlemen. You've made it 20 days into this boot camp. We're going to start wrapping up the perfect email part of this boot camp, and then the final week is we're going to move into the perfect ads, and we're going to talk specifically about how to get more eyeballs, more traffic on your opt-in page. Because at this point, we've already gone through the offer, the opt-in page, or the funnel, and the emails. And now it's all just about getting eyeballs on all of this stuff and then maximizing conversions. So have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is for you, and we'll see you again tomorrow for day 21.